13 WMAZ Morning starts now.
Ida is now out of the way, and we look ahead to a much different and more pleasant end to the week. I'll have the details coming up.
One of Central Georgia's largest school districts will soon move to remote learning, when Bibb County students will need to pack up the books and when they can head back to campus.
Central Georgia Technical College is suspending all on-campus classes for Friday. I'm going to tell you why in just a few minutes.
And happy 80th birthday to Robins Air Force Base. We are live from the base this morning, breaking down the last 8 decades of the base's history.
Well, good Wednesday morning. You're taking a live look over a beautiful downtown Macon. I mean, just stop what you're doing and check out the sun. You can see it's trying to peek in a little bit. The time is now 6:31 on this September the 1st. I'm Wanye Reese. Caitlin, oh, there she is right there joining us live from Robins Air Force Base. They had you hidden, Caitlin, but what are you doing out there this morning?
I am out here to help us celebrate the 80th anniversary of Robins Air Force Base, and you're tired to see me. Why don't you take a look at this plane behind me, this massive C-5. We have all kinds of history about all the planes here at Robins, all about the last 8 decades and the impact that they've had here in Central Georgia. Wanye.
Oh, wow, Caitlin. Well, we are looking forward to hearing more about this story a little bit later on in the show. And certainly when you walked out the door this morning, I'm sure Caitlin can feel it too, Courtney. It's comfortable this morning.
That's right. Yeah, not half bad out there. Now that Ida is out of the way, we are done with that. And now we are going to look ahead to a much nicer forecast. We still have just a couple of lingering showers from the storm wrapping around here, rolling through parts of Jasper and Putnam County. Otherwise, it's just a bit on the breezy side, and that will continue as Ida starts to push further away. But as the storm does so, we'll start to calm down our wind a little bit. Definitely not going to be as breezy today as it was yesterday. Now all the flash flooding and severe weather rolling off to the northeast as Ida rolls that way. We have a few lingering clouds from the storm. Notice these fairly low-lying clouds this morning. Those are typical in tropical systems, but nonetheless, we are starting to see a beautiful sunrise peek out in between the clouds this morning. Gorgeous looking view and not a bad feel out there. Our dew points are still fairly high. They're near 70 this morning, some of us in the low 70s, and a little bit on the breezy side. And we're going to stay that way until the end of the week. When can we see some lower humidity? It's going to be beautiful by Friday. All those details are in a few minutes.
Well, thank you, Courtney. We will be checking back in with Caitlin a little bit later on in the show. Kids in one Central Georgia school district are preparing to head back online. Starting next Tuesday, September the 7th, Bibb County students begin at least 2 weeks of remote learning. They're scheduled to return to the classroom on September the 20th. The district made the announcement yesterday saying the decision is to help cut the spread of COVID-19 in the county. Extracurricular and athletic programs will continue during the 2-week period. Superintendent Curtis Jones says teachers are spending the rest of this week making sure students get squared away with internet access and food if needed. Schools aren't the only one monitoring coronavirus numbers. A house in County City is now putting new precautions in place as cases rise. This week, the Perry City Council voted to enact more restrictions. That includes canceling or postponing city-sponsored events of more than 30 people, whether they're inside or outside. They're also requiring masks and social distancing for indoor city activities. According to the city's policy, when Houston County hits 112 new cases or 33 COVID-19 hospitalizations, those restrictions take effect for at least 3 weeks. Over the past week, Houston County averaged 133 new cases a day. Among the canceled events right now is Perry's Food Truck Friday event on September the 10th and the September 18th Perry Music Festival. Now let's talk about some news from across the state. Suspended Clayton County Sheriff Victor Hill now faces a new lawsuit from a Los Angeles man and former inmate. It accuses Hill, along with 9 other deputies, of violating the man's civil rights. According to the lawsuit, the man says deputies beat him before putting him in a restraining chair for hours. It allegedly came after his arrest for disorderly conduct at the Atlanta airport back in February. Hill is currently under federal indictment, accused of violating the civil rights of several other inmates. He pleaded not guilty to charges in the latest federal situation earlier this month. A long-standing hotel at Atlanta's airport will come down this weekend. Hartsfield-Jackson International announced crews would implode the 14-story Sheraton this Sunday morning. That's nearly 188,000 square feet of concrete and steel. The hotel closed in 2017 after the city bought it for $17 million. The property will be used for an airport expansion project. The hotel tower will come down this weekend and crews will demolish the remaining parts later this year. A former University of Georgia quarterback in Houston County's own Jake Fromm is now a free agent. According to the latest roster, the Buffalo Bills released Fromm is among one of the 23 cuts the team made yesterday to get down to a 53-man roster. There's still a chance that Fromm could be signed to the Bills practice squad or another team could pick him up. The Bills originally drafted him last year. Fromm graduated from Houston County High School, where he was a standout for the Bears, throwing for nearly 13,000 yards. All right, let's go ahead and hop on the roads. It looks like one Warner Robins road won't open back up for a little while longer. On Monday, we told you that part of Tom Chapman Boulevard was set to reopen, but that's now been pushed back a couple weeks. The city says they'll close the road from Osegian Boulevard to Rio Pino Drive until 5 p.m. on September the 14th. This is for utility and storm drainage work. They say people traveling near the road should find a different route. And we can't talk about Houston County without mentioning that today, Robins Air Force Base celebrates 80 years of service to the country and the Central Georgia community. Caitlin Heck, she is live at Robins this morning. Caitlin, what is the base doing to mark their anniversary?
Well, they are first going to unveil a special anniversary logo, and that's going to kick off an entire year's worth of celebrations, and rightly so, because Robins has come a long way since crews broke ground here in 1941. I'm actually inside the first building that was ever here at the base. At the time, it was made partly of wood. It was surrounded by pretty much farmland. As you can see, it has come a long, long way since then. This is the massive C-5 plane that's in this hangar right now. And I actually talked with an employee who's been at Robins for more than 3 decades. He's partly responsible for bringing this plane here from one of the other Air Force depots. He told me how much the base has grown just since his time here. When Chris Barkley landed a college internship at Robins,
saw a sign on the bulletin board that said engineering internship jobs at Robins Air Force Base.
He had no idea his career was just taking off.
32 years here at Robins Air Force Base.
He now leads more than 800 employees with the electronics maintenance group.
We pretty much have our fingerprint almost every single weapon system that belongs in the United States inventory.
And he says as those weapon systems and other technology around the base became smarter and faster over the years.
Back in 1989 when I started here, we didn't have desktop computers.
Robins employees had to evolve too.
Now everything we do is tied to the computers, and so it's driven a change in the workforce as far as their capabilities and what they work on.
That adaptable workforce helped Robins land new workloads, bringing new challenges.
The going away of the B-52s, the coming of the B-1s, and now the leaving of the B-1s, and then here at the ALC as well too, just seeing the C-5 workload coming to Warner Robins, the C-17 over the years.
Robins also maintains F-15s, the jets responsible for the sonic booms many in Warner Robins have grown accustomed to, and most recently the Global Hawk drone, among several other planes.
As our adversary changes and evolves, we need to be faster and more agile and more able to evolve even faster than our adversary to keep ahead of them.
Barkley says Robins made a lot of progress, but the sky's the limit on where it goes in the next 80 years. This is actually pretty cool. Barkley's dad, 2 brothers, and now his son served in the Air Force, but he says he's technically served the country longer than any of them, just in civilian clothes. And he is not planning to retire anytime soon. And of course, Wanye, we are so grateful for him and all of the thousands of employees that work here at Robins and make their mission possible.
Thank you so much, Caitlin, for that phenomenal report. And I echo what you're saying. We cannot thank all the Robin workers, the military personnel, everybody who is on that base enough for everything that they do for our country and also for Central Georgia. You can find a deeper dive into the history of Robins on 13WMAZ.com. Well, the time is now 6:39 a.m. And I mean, that's absolutely amazing. You think of someplace like Central Georgia, relatively small compared to bigger cities, compared to like Atlanta, but there is so much work that is happening in the international city that keeps us safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And for 80 years, I mean, it's come such a long way. So many people drive by that every day, and now you're getting a little bit of insight on really how much impact it has here. We're so excited to celebrate 80 years of Robins. Really, really cool stuff. All right, everyone, we're also excited that Ida is now out of the way. Obviously caused us a few problems yesterday. We had a little bit of severe weather, also a few storm reports that were issued from the National Weather Service up in Peachtree City and places like Washington County for some downed trees. So we are going to be thankful that our forecast looks a lot nicer over the next few days. Still a little bit breezy. That's going to be just one of the lingering effects of Ida as it pushes off to the northeast. You can see the flags here on top of the fairgrounds blowing just a little bit. Now keep in mind, if you're heading out the door like these people along I-75 in Houston County, the roads might be a little slick to start the day, as we did have some of those outer rain bands push out just a couple of hours ago. So just keep that in mind as you head out the door. 72 right now in the city of Perry. That breeze, of course, blowing steadily this morning, and that is going to make it feel a little comfortable. While our humidity is still fairly high, when you have those higher wind values, that actually helps evaporate the air a little easier, and evaporation is a cooling process. That'll take some of that moisture on your skin and make it feel a little cooler as it evaporates off of it. Thanks to wind speeds like this, we're gusting as high as 16 in Thomaston. We have sustained wind anywhere between 5 to upwards of 10 miles per hour. And we will stay breezy today. Of course, not as breezy as yesterday now that Ida is moving off to the northeast. The further away you get from the center of circulation of a low pressure system, the less that wind is going to be. However, even as Ida moves away, we're going to stay breezy. That will be thanks to a cold front. But the good news about that cold front is not the breeze. It's going to be the lower humidity behind it. Now today, that humidity will drop a little bit. We're going to be on the backside of Ida. So that's going to bring some subsiding air, that sinking air, which causes a drying trend. But here comes that front as we head into tomorrow. Breezy along it, maybe a few isolated showers. Wind will come out of the north. That's going to pull in drier air rather than all that moist air from the Gulf of Mexico that's getting pumped in today from the south. Now wind will come out of the northeast by Friday, and that's going to reinforce some drier air off the Appalachian Mountains. It is going to feel wonderful out there. So as we head into Thursday, dew points in the low 60s, which is definitely an improvement from the mid 70s. So you're going to notice that slightly lower humidity. But here comes a sweet spot as we head into Friday afternoon. Dew points in the mid 50s. Now it's still going to be warm, but it's not going to be warm and muggy. The mornings are going to feel great as they are going to be in the mid to upper 60s as we go through the weekend. Looks like for Labor Day we could have a few extra showers and storms around.